How's it going? How's the night looking?
I'm about to step into the studio and, start my evening shift, as it were.
One of the things I'm excited about and have always been excited about is just the way in which you kind of meld art and popular culture in a way that really challenges us to really think very broadly about how visual culture sort of exists at these different intersections of art and culture and art and history and culture and history.
I think I am the bridge between, let's just say, Marcel Duchamp and Kendrick Lamar.
And that's a gap, but maybe not as big as one would think.
Right. I'm interested in the elasticity of language and how, a rapper can use words to paint pictures. I've had the great fortune of sitting in with some of my favorite artists in their studio as they're sort of coming up with these ideas. And it reminds me of what I do in the studio, right? There's a lot of freestyling at first, and then you sort of shape that idea or you shape the concept to, let's just say, to be more legible. I find that to be very playful, very fun, in the same ways my forefathers have done so, right? Like Hammond's fly in the jar, using a zipper as a fly in the jar. And then I find myself in 2023 saying, well, if these are my forefathers, then what's my move?
I know you've got this show coming up at Sean Kelly Gallery in New York.
Yeah, it's very ambitious. I wanted to explore the space with languages, certain contronyms, certain musical components that both inform and sort of allow me to make the next move. Now that I have Mystic Parallax out in the world, I feel like that's my foundation. That's my sort of well for ideas. And so essentially what I'm doing is I'm putting my hand in that well and just, grabbing anything that I would like to explore or expand on. There's no prescriptive way of looking at this exhibition. I think it's just a matter of understanding my practice is very much about retroactive continuity, where I would go back and sort of revisit an idea or a concept that I felt could use another iteration, if you will.
How long have you been working with Sean Kelly?
Our relationship starts back at least a decade plus.
Right.
It's been a slow but a very important sort of relationship that we've cultivated over the years. Sean has been sort of instrumental in pointing me in the right direction in terms of what to look at and how to make meaning of it.
It's always refreshing when artists are bold and courageous to keep pushing themselves and try new things, but yet there are these threads, right? That continuity that you can kind of pull through that offer up different points of entry for different people. I'm really excited to see what you do around the coffins, because that is cross oceans, that's diasporic.
It's going to bridge the gap between this culture of vanity coffins that takes place in Africa and marry it to the death of young musicians or young people who participate in this sort of opioid crisis. So to your point, creating multiple access points so that it's not this hermetic body of works, right? So I think it's about finding those entry points, whether that's, a cracked window or a revolving door of ways of entering this work.
It can be tongue-in-cheek, it can be serious, it's also very commemorative, right? Because it's speaking to a particular individual. And fast forward to sort of what you were just saying now about, music and sort of the freestyling aspect, but you're also carrying forth kind of a history, right, of a particular musician, a particular genre, a particular sound, and like paying homage to it by lifting it up, moving it into your space, and then kind of building upon it, right? Making it your own, and then also making it for other people in this moment.
That's part of the process for me, right? The fact that I didn't want to make just a portrait of someone in the style of my earlier portraits and say that was Mona Lisa. I think for me it was more important that it had to be conceptual. If Duchamp drew a mustache on her, I wanted to add another sort of dimension to it. So it has Hammond's zipper. It's also cased behind the same thickness of bulletproof glass that the actual Mona Lisa is. So then you kind of have this notion of, well, this is an official reproduction of this portrait, but then it has all these other elements. So all these things are things that I think about, that I wrestle with, ideas that I wrestle with here at the studio, and then it's through sort of travel or retroactive continuity that I'm able to kind of give myself permission to make those moves, put it out into the world, and have the audience sort of respond to it. And then I might even, make a move after that.
Oh, I'm sure you will, Awol. We know that.